Welcome to the UCM Interface Bible Study dito sa 702 DZAS FEBC Radio TV, Agapay ng Sambayanan. Isa itong conversational expository Bible study program hatid sa inyo ng UCM Interface, ang Young Adults Ministry ng Union Church of Manila. We do our best to study context and let Scripture speak for itself. Ang programang ito ay isang teaching ministry ng Union Church of Manila, a church of many nations committed to making disciples who are transformed by the gospel of Jesus Christ.
And my name is Gutch.
Christina.
Chrissy.
And Rainier.
Okay. So now we are on Esther 8. But before that, ano ba nangyari nung last episode sa Esther 7?
Napakaganda nung nangyari sa chapter 7 kasi lahat naging baliktad. And chapter 7 simply describes the demise of Haman. Remember at the dinner, it was the second day.
Ito na yung second banquet.
It's the second banquet. Dito na nilabas ni
Esther yung request niya.
Yung request niya.
Finally. Sinabi na niya.
Oo, at doon nabisto kung sino talaga yung kaaway.
An adversary and enemy, this vile Haman.
Pero nakakatawa dyan. Ano nga ba yung German word? Schadenfreude. Yung pagtatawanan mo yung demise ng tao. Parang ganun yung feeling ko dito sa chapter na to eh.
Medyo comedy kasi yung scene.
Medyo comedy yung scene at kung paano siya pinatay.
So, nung na-reveal this vile Haman.
Nagalit si Xerxes. He was surprised. Hindi niya nakalain na...
Nag-walkout nga siya
Nag-walkout siya kasi siya yung instrument nun eh.
Siya yung pumirma.
Siya yung instrument dun sa pagpapatay dapat sa mga Jews, including his own queen. Kaya lumabas siya sa garden. Ito namang si Haman, who was really scared for his life, was begging Queen Esther. Pero ang itsura, kasi nalaglag siya dun sa couch ni Esther, napatapon siya dun nagalit yung king. It seemed like he was going to abuse Queen
mukhang
Esther.
hinaharas niya si Esther. Sakto pasok si Xerxes eh.
Pagpasok
Nakita
ni
yun.
Xerxes, yun ang nakita niya.
Tapos yung nangyari,
Nagalit, kaya sabi, dahil dyan, papapatay na kita. Parang kumbaga ganun yung nangyari.
yung sabi, they covered Haman's face. Parang alam mong deads na to.
Alam na ako anong gagawin. And then,
So yun yung pinaka-reason kung bakit siya pinapatay. Not
Yes.
because
Not
of
because of the decree.
edict
it
na
wasn't
mali.
even because of the edict.
Okay. Tapos one of the eunuchs attending the king said, Uy, dun sa harap ng bahay ni Haman, mayroong pole na nakaset up. Tapos sabi nung king, impale him on it. And then they did, and the king was happy.
Kaya yun ang katapusan ni Haman.
So ngayon, nasa Esther 8 na tayo. Anyway, before we start, why don't we go through our reading?
Esther 8. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came into the presence of the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. The king took off his signet ring, which he had reclaimed from Haman, and presented it to Mordecai. And Esther appointed him over Haman's estate. Esther again pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping. She begged him to put an end to the evil plan of Haman the Agagite, which he had devised against the Jews. Then the king extended the gold scepter to Esther, and she arose and stood before him. "If it pleases the king," she said, "and if he regards me with favor, and thinks it is the right thing to do, and if he is pleased with me, let an order be written overruling the dispatches that Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, devised and wrote to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces. For how can I bear to see disaster fall on my people? How can I bear to see the destruction of my family?" King Xerxes replied to Queen Esther and to Mordecai the Jew, "Because Haman attacked the Jews, I have given his estate to Esther, and they have impaled him on the pole he set up. Now, write another decree in the king's name in behalf of the Jews as seems best to you, and seal it with the king's signet ring. For no document written in the king's name and sealed with his ring can be revoked." At once the royal secretaries were summoned. On the 23rd day of the 3rd month, the month of Sivan, they wrote out all Mordecai's orders to the Jews and to the satraps, governors, and nobles of the 127 provinces stretching from India to Kush. These orders were written in the script of each province and the language of each people, and also to the Jews in their own script and language. Mordecai wrote in the name of King Xerxes, sealed the dispatches with the king's signet ring, and sent them by mounted couriers who rode fast horses especially bred for the king. The king's edict granted the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate the armed men of any nationality or province who might attack them and their women and children, and to plunder the property of their enemies. The day appointed for the Jews to do this in all the provinces of King Xerxes was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. A copy of the text of the edict was to be issued as law in every province and made known to the people of every nationality so that the Jews would be ready on that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers, riding on royal horses, went out, spurred on by the king's command, and the edict was issued in the citadel of Susa. When Mordecai left the king's presence, he was wearing royal garments of blue and white, a large crown of gold, and a purple robe of fine linen. And the city of Susa held a joyous celebration. For the Jews, it was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. In every province and in every city to which the edict of the king came, there was joy and gladness among the Jews, with feasting and celebrating. And many people of other nationalities became Jews because fear of the Jews had seized them.
Ano bang chunks natin dito,
Okay,
Rainier?
dito naman sa chapter 8,
There are 17 verses.
there are 17 verses. We will actually look at the entire thing at once, but there are three things that I would like us to look at. One is really the unstoppable impetus na nagkaroon na for Esther and Mordecai. Hindi na talaga at this point mapipigilan yung gustong gawin ng Diyos for them. And then second, makita natin how God empowered the Jews. And then finally, finding God in this episode. Yan ang gusto kong makita natin.
Okay, sige.
Okay. Simulan natin, Gusto ko makita nyo kung ano yung nangyari muna. Because that same day, this is how the verse started.
Right, that same day. That's verse 1.
Meaning, same day of what?
Nung napatay si Haman?
Exactly. Kamamatay at kamamatay lang. That same day, the king did something for both Esther and Mordecai. Ano ba? Ano bang nakita natin? How would you describe now the generosity of King Xerxes to both Esther and Mordecai?
That would be verse 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for,
verses
Sobra,
1 and 2.
sobra.
for
Okay.
Esther, binigay niya yung estate ni Haman.
Wow.
the
He was
second
Haman
richest.
was very rich,
He was
one of
very
the nobles.
rich, one of the nobles, second in
command.
command. But his estate was given to...
Esther.
To Esther.
So meaning the whole family of Haman or Haman was dispossessed. So that's implied. Nawala na talaga sila.
Kay Mordecai,
What about Mordecai?
yung signet ring.
How significant is that? Why is that really important?
It's the signature of the king eh.
Yun na yun.
Seal.
Mala digital signature.
Right. Na dati, na kanino yan?
Kay Haman.
Kay
Yun.
Haman.
Nalipat na.
Oo nga, na talagang naalis lahat sa kanya.
Naalis lahat kay Haman. Okay, to sum it up, ano nangyari ngayon kay Esther at kay Mordecai?
Sila na yung may power.
Sila na. So again, one of the overarching themes here in the book of Esther is
Reversal.
Nakita natin na baliktad lahat.
Mhm.
Ang ganda nung nangyari.
Second to the king.
Second to the king na siya. Ito ngayon, tingnan niyo yung verse 3. Because all this generosity, lahat na pinakita nung hari kay Esther at kay Mordecai, parang walang bisa eh. Bakit walang bisa yan?
Kasi
yung
mamamatay
edict
din
still
sila.
stands.
Because there's still that edict. Ano nga ba sinasabi ng edict?
All Jews. They'll
All
be
the
killed.
Jews. So therefore, that would include
Mordecai,
Mordecai
and Esther.
and Esther. So
Right.
ngayon, anong ginawa ni Esther?
She pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping
Wow.
and
Okay.
begging.
Begged to put an end to the evil plan of Haman the Agagite.
How would you describe that posture of Esther?
Probably humility.
Humility.
Desperation.
There's desperation. Ano pa?
Pagpapakumbaba.
Yes.
Probably-
And also
Probably compassion.
for whom?
Respect.
For her people.
For her own people.
Oh.
And again, what caused her to have such a vigorous devotion to her people?
By this time, was it chapter 5 or 6?
Mm-hmm.
Was it somewhere around that time? She already had that sense that she was representing her people.
Yun.
After she fasted.
Oh, after
Right.
she fasted na.
Yeah.
Hindi,
Remember,
my life is not my own anymore.
Yan.
Yeah.
It was when she identified herself with her people. That really was the turning point of everything. Kasi nga, when you talk about compassion for others, unless you learn to identify yourself with the suffering, hindi ka naman magkakaroon ng ganyang motivation.
I remember there's a verse in... Wait, was it a verse? Or was it like lyrics from a song? Pero it's like... break my heart for what breaks yours. Is that
Sa
lyrics?
Hillsong yun.
That's
Kanta
a,
yun.
it's a lyric. Oh, lyrics pala siya.
Sa Bible. Wala siya sa Bible.
It's a Bible. Okay.
Pero baka malapit na.
Somewhere there. Psalm 200, yan mga ganun. Pero yung parang break my heart for what breaks yours. It's like, it's to feel the hurt that God feels when He sees His people suffering.
Right. Kaya importante yung, let's introduce this theological term, the incarnation of Jesus. Jesus, who is God, became flesh. That means He identified Himself with us.
Right.
Now, that is definitely a grand demonstration of compassion.
I heard this example before. I'm not sure if it's C.S. Lewis who gave this analogy.
Okay.
Pero it's like, when somebody's drowning in a river, the only way to help that person is to have one foot on the shore and then another in
The water.
reaching in the water. Pero kung yung buong katawan mo nasa tubig din,
Wala ka na rin.
deads ka din eh.
Yeah.
Diba? So there's a position where you can help
Yeah.
somebody who is down. You're in a position that's safe, but you reach down into danger to be able to pull somebody out.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what Esther did. Well, in her manner of speaking, she was also in danger, pero she was also in a position of
A
power.
position of power. And she
Oo.
could have just lied about her identity or just did not disclose
Probably, yeah,
it.
I guess. Oh, and then also, that's also what Christ did, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. Totally in safety, and yet I see my people in danger.
So in other words, nakita na naman natin itong talagang genuineness ng devotion ni
Right.
Esther sa her own people.
May
Okay.
nakita ko sa Hebrews 13:3. Remember those who are in prison as though in prison with them, and those who are mistreated since you are also in the body. So andun yung spirit of identifying yourself with
Yes,
those who are
yes.
suffering.
Okay. Kaya nga, I really just have, I have this question for everyone. Have you ever felt this kind of compassion for maybe a family member?
It's about the mental health situation in college. Kasi my classmates did a research on the stress levels and basta yung stress levels sa different year levels ng College of Dentistry. Tapos nakita na the higher the year level, the more stress experienced by the student. Tapos may isang nagpanel na nagsabing dapat mag-adjust na lang kami kasi wala pa namang nagpapakamatay.
Oh.
So a lot of people were hurt kasi porket bang wala pang nagpapakamatay,
Pwede pang gawin niya.
Oo, hindi ba totoo yung stress namin na may mga nade-depress na pala clinically. Meron mga nag-drop na kasi may mental health disorder. So a lot were so hurt by the words of that member of the panel. I approached different professors, then also the dean, the heads of the clinics about the issue because I wanted change to happen. I don't want people to remain depressed, anxious in the college. Tapos, I spoke about it and then may mga lumapit sa akin na ang dami din nilang pinagdadaanan. Some tried to commit suicide. Some can't wake up and go to school. And it was so sad to hear all these stories na kahit graduates na actually. Lumapit sila sa akin to tell me na what happened in the college is still affecting them until today while they're practicing outside. That's when I learned to identify myself with the other students in the college. That we have a mental health problem existing and it's prevalent. Pero ang hirap makahanap ng solutions.
Should I share mine?
Sure, go
Sige.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mine is, I didn't grow up with a dad. And then I became a Christian when I was 27. Tapos parang after that, na-feel ko yung plight of families who are broken. Children who did not grow up with fathers. Fatherless children.
Yeah.
And I really have like both awa, at the same time anger. And some of the small groups I led before we're all men who did not grow up with dads. I think that's the connecting point na parang I feel you. I feel the hurt. But at the same time, because now I am adopted by a heavenly father,
Yeah.
I would say that wound is healed.
Right.
Or a little more healed than before, which puts me in a
And
position
because
to
of
help
that
others.
healing,
Yeah, and because
now
of that healing,
you become
I
an
can-
instrument
of
of
healing for
also,
others. Yeah.
for others who came from a fatherless
Yes.
family. And I think this is the second nature of a Christian. You just learn to identify yourself with those who are in need or suffering. Kasi nga, ang model natin si Jesus. Itong incarnation niyang ito ay napakahalaga for us Christians to remember. At ito yung nakita kong model ni Esther din sa atin. She identified herself with the people. Now, moving on, meron pa tayo kasi ditong obstacle, a legal obstacle. At ano nga ulit yun?
Yung ginawa ni Haman.
Yung ginawa ni Haman. Andun pa yung edict.
There's an interesting part here. Actually, it's verse 8. Pagka merong ginawang edict ang king, hindi na pwedeng ma-revoke yan.
Hindi na. It's
Oo.
irrevocable.
Yeah.
It's final.
Final na yan. Hindi na pwedeng
Hindi
balikan.
pwedeng
Hindi
i-erase.
pwedeng tanggalin.
Hindi pwedeng
No
mag-erase.
erase. Period. No erase.
Sabi nga ng mga bata.
Oh, diba?
Naglalaro.
No
Ayun.
erase.
No erase. Ganon. So, paano nila gagawa ng paraan to? Hindi nila pwedeng bawiin lang.
So, tingnan natin. How did they resolve this issue?
Let's make a new one.
So the only solution to the dilemma is to write another decree.
To counter the
First
one.
Yeah, the first edict, but with equal force.
So the king's edict granted the Jews the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate the armed
Wow.
men of any nationality or province who might attack them.
So nakalagay dito, the Jews have
The right
the right
to protect themselves,
to assemble and protect themselves. Ano pa ulit?
to
To
destroy,
kill,
kill,
And annihilate
annihilate the armed men of
Any
kahit sino pa yan. It is very clear that they had to come up with another decree to counteract the first one.
Right, right.
But again, it has to have equal force.
Okay.
Ito ngayon, tignan niyo yung verse 9. Dito sa bagong edict na this was penned by Mordecai.
They wrote out all Mordecai's orders to the Jews, satraps, governors, nobles of the 127 provinces.
So among the addressees, notice that the Jews were mentioned first in the list.
Yes.
And who else were included in that list? Pero nauna yung Jews. Diba?
All the
Mga
nobility.
officials.
Officials, people in power in the empire. What do you think is the significance of this? Uunahin mo dun sa list ng email mo, kumbaga nakakopy na lang yung iba eh.
Nakasisi.
Nakasisi na lang sila. Normally, if you're going to write a letter, uunahin mo yung pinaka-importante. Di ba?
Parang mag-good morning ka. Good morning to the president first before
Right.
you say good morning to the other people.
Okay, okay.
Right. Pero bakit inuna mo yung Jews?
Because
Para
they
sa
were the
kanila
ones who were the more important group.
Meaning,
They're now very powerful.
yes, it's so unusual. They are now placed in the same rank as these officials. Very powerful yung message kasi sa addressees, inuna talaga yung Jews at pinantay pa dun sa lahat ng powerful people. Kumbaga, pag nasa isang reception ka, nandun ka sa presidential table. Hindi ka
Tama.
dun sa kusina. Di ba? Di ba? Ganun katindi yung nangyari. Tignan naman natin yung how it was disseminated. Ano ba to? May mga parang kalapati lang na pinalipad. Ganun lang ba yun?
Sige.
A copy of the edict was to be given as law in each province to inform all the people so that the Jews would be ready on that day to avenge themselves from their enemies. They mounted couriers on the royal horses, went out without delay, urged by the king's word. The law was given in the citadel of Susa.
Okay.
Royal
Ano
horses.
yung dating nito? Ano yung dating nito? If you're one of the citizens of the empire and you see that this is how this new edict is being disseminated to everyone,
Ano yung feeling mo?
ano yung feeling? Ano ba yung, paano ba?
Super important messages.
Wow, kasi
Royal horses. So parang kala mo courier lang. Napumunta sa
hindi
pinto.
to LBC.
Oo.
Hindi.
Ferrari mismo.
Oo. Tapos may mga PSG pang kasama yung courier. Parang ganon. Or something to that effect. But you can just picture how powerful, baka nga nakakatakot pang tingnan eh. Ano to? Ano kaya itong napakahalagang message na ipinapakalat sa buong empire? And if you were one of the Jews, how would you feel?
Empowered.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unang-una, ikaw pa'y nasa simulang-simula ng listahan. But even just the manner by which it was delivered speaks of importance, power, minsan fear. Also, parang it's conveying fear to everyone. Kasi pag hindi natin to pinansin, mukhang may mangyayari sa atin. Okay, itong tanong ko. Kasi kung titingnan niyo yung content, medyo mahirap tanggapin.
Yeah. Like, if I were a younger Christian, magugulat ako na, these are God's people and they are going to destroy their enemies.
Right. Gusto ko makita natin na parang medyo may problema tayo dito talaga eh.
Yeah.
No? Parang, napansin niyo ba medyo overkill? At saka para siguro isipin niyo, asan ang grace? Asan ang compassion?
Isn't God a loving God?
O yan, yung mga ganyang tanong. Pero, magandang isipin muna natin yan. But let us discuss that in the next episode. I just want to raise this question. So this is something for us to think about. So then we can address that in the next episode. Now, look at verse 17. Ito medyo controversial tong verse 17. What does verse 17 say?
In every province and in every city to which the edict of the king came, there was joy, gladness among the Jews, and feasting, celebrating. And many people of other nationalities became Jews because fear of the Jews had seized them.
Yun. At minsan kasi nahihirapan talaga yung translators sa pagsalin from Hebrew to English. And dito, ang suggestion sa NIV,
That many people of other nationalities became Jews.
became. Yeah, ano ba yung version mo?
You want me to try ESV? And many from the peoples of the country declared themselves Jews.
Okay, that's a very good translation. My translation, which is the NIV, I think this is the 2010 edition, says that they became, implying that the people converted to Judaism. But then the ESV says,
Declared.
declared. What does that imply?
They're not really Jews.
But
They just declared to be Jews.
they were feigning it. Why?
Because they were afraid.
Possibly because they were afraid.
Because at this point, the Jews were empowered and they wanted...
They're on the winning side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tsaka, grabe just think of it. The edict before was that you will be killed if you are a Jew. But for these people who are not Jews to declare themselves as Jews, it's also inviting danger on themselves.
That's true.
Pero they will not do that unless they see that it's an advantage.
Right.
Unless they have an idea that these Jews are going to win.
Oh.
Kasi in the first part of the verse, the edict pa lang was given and yet they were already celebrating. Wala pa namang
Wala
day na
pa,
yun.
itik
What's
pa
to
lang ito.
celebrate?
Parang hindi pa nagsisimula yung laban. Ina-announce
nila.
pa lang sa TV.
Nag-bonfire na.
Nag-bonfire na agad. Panalo na to. But the fact that they received it in this manner, they knew.
They were going to
They're
be
gonna
victorious.
win.
Right. All right. Ngayon, nabuo na natin yung kwento sa chapter 8. Kasi itong interesting sa Esther. In the other stories, well, in the Old Testament, there are signs and wonders.
Right,
There are
right.
miracles. So it is rather easy to conclude, oh, that's God.
Not to mention, it's explicitly said that God is doing something actively.
Right. Dito wala.
No mention of God.
No. Itong gusto kong malaman. How do you find God in this chapter? How can you see God's intervention in this chapter?
God's hand flipped everything around completely. Because dati yung mga Jews, they were supposed to suffer, be killed. Now they're the ones who are going to defend themselves. And yung wealth nga ni Haman napunta na kina Esther. Mordecai was given Haman's position of authority.
Right.
I think I mentioned this in the previous chapters. One thing that I noticed is that yung mga reversals dito, parang hindi naman ginawa ng mga tao.
Oh.
Diba? Coincidence lang yung mga reversals And then, the biggest one, or at least the one that started everything, was really something so small, but it's the night King Xerxes could not sleep. That's it.
Oh, yung mga ganong detalye.
That's like the big
Turning point.
Turning
Right.
point yun.
Ngayon, ang tanong ko naman, at ito natanong na natin in the previous episode, but I would like us to also try to find how God is working in both silently in your life. Wala namang siguro kayong nakitang miracles, wala naman sigurong anything supernatural, or maybe there is, but for a lot of normal people, in your day-to-day life, wala naman tayo nakikitang masyadong spectacular, right? But how do you see God working in your life, albeit silently?
Actually, maganda nga yung point na yun. Kasi, yun naman yung repeating theme
Right.
sa
Kaya
Esther.
ulit-ulitin.
Oo. I guess mahirap lang kasi makaisip ng kwento. all the time eh. Yung mga kwento namin, share na namin in the previous chapters. But I think the big takeaway that we can get here is like, we don't need to experience miracles. Yung mga big, bombastic
Or
things.
anything spectacular.
Oh, to know na that God is moving in our life.
Right.
Because God moves even in the small things, even in the mundane things.
Of course, itong nangyari kay Esther, medyo malaking bagay.
Well, malaki na to at this point.
oo.
Pero
Sa
there,
whole
it started small.
It did. Pero makikita nga natin, there were no angels sent. Even Mordecai, hindi naman siya
Angel.
hindi siya prophet.
Hindi nga siya angelic eh. Di ba? Medyo,
Even his characters kind
Yeah,
of questionable. Pero tingnan nyo, ginamit ng Panginoon. I think there's this tendency for us to look for the spectacular, for something grand. And unless that happens, that's not God.
right.
I think this story is teaching us to look for those things, to have that sensitivity, to see where God is taking us, how He's leading us, how He is intervening and orchestrating events in our lives.
Riding on that thought, there's a verse in Hebrews where it says that we should fix our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. That's a great encouragement for us to know that He will finish the work that He has started in us. He will finish it. And so whenever we think that, I don't know if God's moving in my life kasi I don't see like all these big testimony things, yung mga big breakthrough,
Right.
yung mga ganun. Usually mga hinahanap na
Maski
breakthrough,
maski
financial
nga sa
breakthrough.
church, pag may magte-testimony, kailangan yung
bombastic.
dramatic.
Oh, yung boom,
Kasi
malaki.
kung hindi ka naiyak, walang Holy Spirit yata sa worship na yun.
Oh, pero, yun nga, na since Jesus is going to finish the work that He has started in us, we have that confidence that He is working, even if it's not headline type of stories, even if it's small stories, almost mundane little things, but God will perfect
Right.
and God will finish the work.
I actually felt that before na bakit yung ibang testimony ng mga kakilala ko napaka-powerful, may mga turning points. Parang bakit sa akin walang ganon?
Oo.
Tapos biglang, be careful what you ask for. Ayan, nabigyan ng power ang testimony. Ouch.
Ouch. Nako. Maganda yan pang February yata yung kwento natin. I-reserve natin yan for our Valentine's episode.
Oo nga. So I think our listeners can kind of guess what that's gonna be about.
That is about. But
All
anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
That's something to leave our listeners is that you don't need
See miracles.
you don't need to see miracles.
That's not necessary to see the parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah, you don't need to see the Red Sea part in your life. Although it would be nice
Oh,
to
sure.
see,
Yeah.
or maybe you don't need to see like blind people with their eyes opened.
Restored.
But just know that the Lord is going to finish what He has started in our life. And that even in the small things that we do, maybe the big things are going to happen because of the small
Right.
things. And yeah, so that's Esther 8. And we'll see you on Esther 9.
Okay.
9 and 10, actually.
It's 9 and 10.
9 and 10. All right, see ya.
See ya.
Bye.
You have listened to the UCM Interface Bible Study here at 702 DZAS FEBC Radio TV, Agapay ng Sambayanan. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 702 DZAS FEBC Radio TV, and Facebook account, 702 DZAS FEBC Radio. Hear our full episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, at marami pang iba. Join us at Union Church of Manila, Rada, Corno Legazpi, Makati City.